Okay, welcome to class. I'm Angela, and this is Cassie. She's going to be modeling for us today. Today, all we're going to need are blocks. We may need blankets at one point if the groin's tight, so I have blankets here should you need them. And we're going to get started in child's pose today. So in child's pose, the knees are wide, your big toes are touching each other. You want to sink your hips all the way down into your heels. And from there, lengthen the spine and rest the forehead either to your mat, or if you find that the forehead's not reaching the mat, then you can place a block underneath your forehead. Good. And now come to a very restful child's pose. So you can just let the elbows come down, the shoulders relax into the back, and even close your eyes. And begin to inhale and exhale only through your nose. On your inhale, feel your lungs expanding, especially towards the back and the side body, which is exposed in child's pose. And as you exhale, make that gentle constriction at the base of the throat, that ocean-sounding breath. And when we're in a forward fold like this, it becomes a little bit easier to bring our awareness inward. So as we spend this time deepening the breath, just slowly start to let go of your day. Anything that may have occurred earlier today or anything that's pending for the rest of the day, just try to set that aside for your practice, for the duration. And notice what's happening in the body right now. Notice if there's any places where you're noticing tension or discomfort. And try to breathe into those areas. Send oxygen there. Take a big inhale. And on your exhale, release some of that tension. Your breath should be your guide for your practice. And child's pose is a resting pose, so feel free to come back here at any time throughout your practice. If you find your breath has become shallow, that's usually a good indicator to just take a moment. So we'll take 2 more deep breaths in our child's pose. And on your next exhale, rise up onto your hands and knees. Come to table pose, so bring your knees directly underneath your hips. Your wrists come directly underneath the shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. And take a little micro bend in the elbows. The head of the arms, bring them into the back, away from the ears. Good. And then on your next inhale, drop the belly forward. Lift the head and the tailbone up for cow pose. Then exhale, tuck under and round the spine. Get a nice stretch right between the shoulder blades. Lift up as high as you can. Good. Inhale, belly falls, chest reaches through, so take the head of the arms into the back. Good. Exhale and round. 2 more times like this. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Come back to a neutral spine. So check in with your hands, spread your fingers even wider, ground the knuckles in all 4 corners of the palms. Then curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. So take a moment just to check in with the hamstrings and notice if they're tight today. If they are, take your feet a little bit wider, bend your knees a little bit more, and lengthen the spine back. So take those hips further back, bend your knees a little bit more. Yeah, take them back this way, good. And then start to pedal up the feet to release one side and then the other. So breathe deeply as you do so. And also notice the hands. So sometimes once we come into downward facing dog, we start to press more into the heel of the palms. And we want to take that pressure out of the wrist. So see if you can transfer a little bit more of your weight onto the base knuckles or even take your hips back further. Good. So now take both heels down towards the ground at the same time. I want you to make sure your toes are pointing straight forward. Come back to downward facing dog. Good. Good. And now take baby steps with your feet all the way to the top of your mat. When you come to the top, ensure that your feet are sit bone distance apart, that the toes are forward. And now allow the body to fall over top the legs. Reach for opposite elbows. And the arms and the head are nice and heavy here. Good. So release any tension in the spine. Take your feet a little bit wider. Good. And in the neck, and a little sway from side to side if that feels good. Good. Feel all four corners of the feet grounding down. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, release your elbows and inhale to rise. So sweep those arms, come all the way up, bring your palms together. And exhale your hands down to prayer position. Release your hands by your side and just take a moment to check in with your posture. We talked about this in the first session with the head of the femurs back over the ankle. So just check in, make sure you're not allowing them to press forward, and gently just scoop the tailbone under and lift up nice and tall in the sternum. Excellent. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Nice big inhale as you reach both arms up overhead. Bring your palms together. Exhale your hands down to your heart. Hi guys, one there. That's okay. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up. Palms together. Exhale them back down. Good stuff. On your next inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale and fold forward over top the legs. Inhale, bring your fingertips to your shins, come halfway up, lengthen your spine, really tilt your pelvis. Then exhale and fold into your legs. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, bring your palms together. And exhale them back down to your heart. One more like this. Inhale, reach the arms up. Really open up through your chest. Exhale and fold forward. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale, come all the way up, palms together. And exhale your hands down. Moving on, inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back to plank pose. Good, so in plank pose, shoulders above the wrists, thighs are firm, tailbones drawing down towards your heels. We're gonna stay here and take a few breaths. So keep your gaze just beyond your fingertips towards the top of your mat. Really feel the core engaged, tailbone lengthen. Bring all your awareness to your breath. Excellent. Take one more inhale. And now exhale, slowly lower all the way down into your tummy with those elbows by the side. We're going to come all the way flat down. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat and inhale to rise to cobra pose. Good. And now in cobra pose, we want to soften around the neck. Shoulders are into the back, elbows are pointing back. So come to a cobra that you can maintain. You want to feel like there's length being created, not compression. Good. Take one more inhale. Then exhale, lower down and press back, downward facing dog. Good. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Inhale, rise halfway up, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up, palms together. And exhale your hands down. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. So see if you can keep the legs a little bit straighter now. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back to plank. Good. This time take just one inhale. And as you exhale, lower, but come to hover over top your mat. And now inhale forward, upward facing dog. So tops of the feet come flat, lift through your chest, roll the shoulders into your back. Excellent. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your left foot forward. And then step your right foot forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up, palms together. And exhale your hands down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back to plank. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, slowly lower to hover. Inhale forward, upward facing dog, tops the feet are flat. Good. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. And then your left foot. Inhale, lengthen up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up, palms together, and exhale your hands back down. Good. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Now exhale, plant your hands down, step back to plank. Let's stay in our plank, and you're going to walk your feet together to touch. Roll to the outside of your left foot, come to side plank. Good, so we're going to reach that top arm up. Now we're going to take our top leg and step it in front of the bottom leg. Then press down into that foot and lift the hips even higher towards the sky. Good. An added challenge, if you like, is to keep the hips lifted and take that top foot into tree pose against the bottom leg. Good, and to keep breathing while you do it. Excellent. With control, come back to center. And now over to the other side. Good. Legs are nice and strong. Hips lift, top arm reaches. Deep breaths. Now step that top leg in front. Press down into the ground. Lift the hips even higher. And then if you like, you can take that top leg into tree pose against the bottom leg. Good stuff. Excellent. Come back to plank with lots of control. Good work. Take an inhale here. Now exhale and lower down. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your left foot forward. And then the right foot. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms, come all the way up, palms together. And exhale your hands down. Good. On your next inhale, sit your hips back. Coming into chair pose. Reach your arms up. Good. Exhale, fold forward and straighten your legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, lower your hands down. Step just your right leg back and lower that knee down onto your mat. Keep your hips reaching forward. Inhale, reach your arms up into a low lunge. So you want to keep the hips reaching to get that stretch in the left hip, or in the right hip, sorry. Good stuff. Lower your hands down. Release back to plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale and lower. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. You can always do cobra instead. Good. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. Inhale, step your right foot forward. And then step the left foot forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms, come all the way up, palms together. Exhale your hands down. Good. Inhale, sit your bum back. Reach both arms up, chair pose. Good. Exhale, fold forward and straighten the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands down, step your left leg back. Lower that knee to your mat. And inhale, reach both arms up. Keep those hips reaching forward. Good. Exhale, lower your hands down. Release back to plank. Take a breath in here. Exhale and lower. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, release back. Good. Come back to child's pose. Knees down wide, big toes together. Sink the hips down and rest your forehead to your mat. Good. Take a moment to check in with your body. Body should feel a little bit warmer now. Good. Come back to that deep breath. We'll take 2 more breaths in our child's pose. Then after your next exhale, come back to downward facing dog. Good. Let's step the right foot forward between the hands. And also bring your left foot forward and bring your big toes together, heels just slightly apart, about 1 inch apart. Come back to chair pose. So sit back into the hips, reach your arms up. Good. Take a couple breaths here. So you want to try to keep the knees right over the toes, pointing in that direction. Hips are back, chest is lifted. Now bring your hands down to prayer position and take your left elbow to the outside of the right knee for what's known as a prayer twist. Good. So press those hands together, lift the back elbow up and see if you can look in that direction as well. Try to keep the knees even, so your opposite knee might want to come forward. Good. You want to make the movement happen from the torso. Excellent. Come back to center and over to the other side. Good. So pressing into the hands, try to make the collarbones wide. Start to bring your chest towards the thumbs. See if you can bring your thumbs even closer in towards you. Good stuff. Good. Come back to center. Reach both arms up, straighten the legs. And then fold forward, come back to ragdoll pose. You can take your feet a little bit wider, hold opposite elbows, and breathe here. So Eric, bend your knees even more. Bend, bend, yeah, and then let your body hang forward. Good stuff. Good. Release those elbows, bring your hands back down to your mat, and step back to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale forward, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Good. Look up towards your hands. Step your right foot forward. And now spiral your back leg out to flatten it. Line the front heel to the arch of the back foot and rise up to warrior two. So in warrior two, the front knee is bent right over the ankle, pointing over that second toe. We want the shoulders above the hips, soften around the shoulders and extend those arms. Engage the arm muscles. Good. So your mental focus, your drishti gaze is over your front middle finger. You want to keep your eyes very soft. Now place your back hand to your back thigh. Keep the legs exactly as they are. Turn the front palm up and reach up overhead. Good. So watch that front knee. It might want to come out of that bend or start to turn inward. Keep it moving open. That's going to keep that hip open. Good. And bring your arms back to T position. Bring your front forearm down onto the front thigh with the palm up and reach that back arm straight up overhead so it becomes an extension of the back leg. Good. Keep those legs nice and strong. The feet are pressing down, drawing energy in towards the center line of the body. And if you start to feel that that front hip is opening, you can possibly lower that bottom hand down onto the mat or even place a block to the inside of the foot and try bringing your hand down onto the block. Keep hugging that front thigh in towards you. Good. And now an option here, if you want to really open the chest and the shoulders, is to take a bind. So the bottom hand comes underneath the thigh, the top arm comes around to connect your fingers. Now you want to find length and then rotate slightly up towards the sky. That's a deep shoulder opener. You're not going to do that with your shoulder. No. Excellent. So those of you who have the bind, you can release it. Bring your hand down to the mat or to the block. Keep that top arm reaching straight up, and we're going to straighten the front leg now for Trikonasana triangle pose. So some of you may need to come up higher on the block, and you're going to take the block actually to the outside of the ankle. Good. Good stuff. Try to make both sides of your body nice and long. Reach out through the crown of your head, and again, keep pressing down into those feet. Good. So take this arm straight up. Yep, no, this one's going to go straight up overhead. Good stuff. For even more opening in the top part of the body, you can extend that top arm up overhead nice and long and bring it parallel to the ground. Good. If you find that's too much for the side body, you can take the arm straight up. Good. Deep breaths. Excellent. Now take your arm straight up once again. Bend the front knee. Rise all the way up, warrior two. Good. Turn to face forward. Hands come down on either side of your front foot and come back to downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Excellent. Step your left foot forward. Spiral out the back leg. Align the front heel to the arch of the back foot. Now really press down through the outer edges of the feet to lift the arches and bring strength into them. All the way up into the knees and the hips. And then rise all the way up, arms into T position. Good. Gaze over your front middle finger. Really strong through the legs, the arms, and then soften a little bit around the neck. Soften around the jaw and the gaze as well. Beautiful. Back hand to the back thigh, front palm turns up, reach up overhead. Keep that front knee bent. There you go. Good. Arms come back up to T position. Bring your front forearm down onto the front thigh with the palm up. Reach that top arm up overhead. Nice long line from the back heel all the way to the fingertips. See if you can look underneath the arm towards the sky. You can look this way. Good. You're going to reach this way. Good. And when that front hip starts to feel like it's opening up, maybe you can slide that bottom hand down to the mat or to a block, or keep it on the thigh. That's okay as well. Excellent. And if you'd like to try a bind, top arm reaches around, bottom hand reaches underneath. Nice, Lucy. Lengthen, and then turn your chest towards the sky. Good stuff. Keep pressing down into those feet to stabilize you. Good. Slowly release the bind. Bring your hand down to the mat or to a block behind your ankle, and now straighten that front leg for triangle pose. Bring it behind your ankle. That's it. Good stuff. Lengthen the underside of the body. Reach out through the crown of your head. And look up towards that top hand if you can. And if you want even more side body opening, reach that top arm up overhead, nice and long, and then turn and look underneath the arm. Good stuff. Okay, reach this arm all the way. Good. Take that arm straight up towards the sky. Bend the front knee. Rise all the way up to warrior two. Good. Turn and face forward. Lower your hands down. Come to plank pose. Inhale in your plank. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, come forward, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Good stuff. Now look up towards your hands. Step your right foot forward. And you're going to come into the same way we set up for our warrior two. So turn the back leg out. Your right hand can stay on your mat, or you can bring it onto a block slightly out in front of you. And then you're going to bring your weight into that front hand and the front leg, and the back leg lifts up. And then notice here, Cassie's hips and chest are facing the side. Okay, so we want to try to work towards that opening towards the side. That bottom hand or block should be directly underneath the shoulder, so you might need to take it a little bit further out. Very nice, Angelo. That back leg is strong, and flex the foot. Don't forget to breathe in your balancing pose. Excellent. With control, lower the back leg down. Both hands come down, step back to downward facing dog. Nice work. Good, let's try that on the left side. So left foot steps forward. Back leg turns out. Reach for your block or place your hand down onto your mat and start to lift the back leg off the mat, nice and strong. Knee and toes pointing towards the side. Start to open up the chest. So that top hand can stay on your hip if you like, or you can reach it up. Whatever works best. Breathe deeply. Very nice work. Lower that foot down. Bring both hands down to your mat. Step back to plank pose. Take an inhale and exhale to lower down. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, release back. Good. Good. Reach your right leg back behind you. Exhale, step it through between your hands. Watch the wall. And lower your back knee now down to your mat. Good. Keep those hips reaching forward. Bring the body up. Bring your hands onto your front thigh to begin. And roll the shoulders into your back. Good. Now bring your arms behind you. Interlace them and open up through the chest. So squeeze those shoulder blades down and together. Lift from your heart. Lift your chin a little bit as well. Excellent. Release your hands. Bring your hands into prayer position. Take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee for a prayer twist. Good. So the elbow's pressing into the leg, legs pressing back into the elbow. Hands are pressing together, back elbows lifting. Now, if you like an added challenge, curl your back toes under, squeeze in towards the midline, and see if you can lift that back knee up off the mat. Good. Excellent. Come back to center. Hands come down. Come back to downward facing dog. Good work. Inhale, reach your left leg back behind you. Exhale, step it through between the hands and lower your back knee down onto the mat. Start with your hands onto the front thigh. Roll the shoulders. Open up through the collarbones. Keep those hips reaching forward and then bring your arms behind you. Find them, interlace them. Squeeze, open up. Good. Lift your chin, Eric. There you go. Bring your hands to prayer position. Take your right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Press the hands together, lift the back elbow up. See if you can look towards that back elbow as well. Good. And if you like, curl the back toes under, hug in towards the center line and lift the back knee off. Good. Come back to center, lower your hands, lower the back knee, release back to plank pose. Take an inhale, exhale and lower down. Inhale forward, upward facing dog. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Good work. Come down onto both knees. And then you're going to lower down onto your forearms. Now, when you lower down, ensure that the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, and the shoulders should feel like they're wrapping around the chest, really strong. So the shoulder blades are flat onto the back. And then palms are pressing down, and we want a nice straight line from the elbow all the way out to the wrist. Okay, good. Now curl your toes under. Now, depending on the hamstrings, you may need to take your feet further out, but you're going to curl your toes under, lift the hips up, and send them back behind you. So it's like downward facing dog on the forearms, or dolphin pose. So if you know your hamstrings are tight here, you can take them a little bit further away from you, or if you want an added stretch, you can walk them in a little bit closer. Good, so bring your elbows a little bit further underneath of you. Yeah, and then take your wrist straight out from there. Good, try from there. Yeah, excellent. Deep breaths. Good. Now lower your knees down to your mat together. We're going to do child's pose with the knees together. Sink back onto the heels, and then bring your hands back by your feet. Forehead can rest to the mat or up onto a block. Just take a couple breaths here. This version of child's pose is great for releasing the spine and opening up the top part of the back because you're resting down onto your thighs. Good. Take 2 more breaths. And then bring your arms back out in front. We're going to come into dolphin pose one more time. So on the forearms, shoulders drawing in, curl your toes under, and lift the hips up and back. Good. Excellent. A great way to open up the shoulders and the chest. Nice, Lucy. Deep breaths. Good. Lower your knees down. Sit back down onto your heels, hands back by your feet, child's pose. Bring your hands back out in front. Make your way to downward facing dog. Good. Now inhale, reach your right leg back behind you. Exhale, sweep it through. We're going to come into pigeon, so the knee is going to lower down to your mat, to the outside of the hip, right around the wrist. Good. The hips lower down. Now extend that leg back behind you. Make sure it's lined up, knee and foot directly behind the shoulder. Good. Now come onto your fingertips. Find a long spine, and you can walk your hands forward if that feels good. Okay. So you need to take your knee that way, but you need to bring your hips all the way this way. Come onto your hands. You're going to shift. No, keep your hands square to the front. But you're going to shift your hips this way. Yeah, not your shoulders though. Just your hips. Good. Actually, curl your back toes under, and then turn this way a little bit more. If you don't want to lean so much onto this side, you want to be a little bit more like that. I'm going to get you a blanket though. Deep breaths in your pigeon pose. Release any deep tension that lies in the hips. Lift up a little bit. Yeah, good. And then extend these toes straight back. Okay, good. Good, good. And then you can walk your hands forward if you want. Try to keep your awareness on your breath and on your body. In the stillness, sometimes we allow the mind to wander. We'll take 2 more breaths. Good. Now walk your hands back towards you. Take your left forearm across the top of your mat, parallel to the top of your mat. Good. Stay lifted in that shoulder. And now bend the back leg and see if you can reach back with the right hand for the back foot. And hug it in towards you. Be sure to breathe, even as you transition to the pose. And you can decide how much you want to bring that foot in towards you, but keep the chest lifted. And you can even get a nice shoulder opening in that top arm as it moves back. Beautiful. Good. Release the back leg. Bring your hands back down to your mat. Curl your back toes under. And press back to downward facing dog. Good. Once you arrive here, if it feels good to rock a little bit back and forth, feel free to do so. Okay, inhale, reach your left leg back. Exhale, sweep it through. Lower that knee close to the wrist. Lower the hips down, take a look over the right shoulder, make sure the knee and the foot are lined up straight behind you, and also that the toes are extending straight back and not turning in. Good. And then with a long spine, you can walk your hands forward, if you like, or stay up. Yeah, that's good. This side's better for you. So you're going to stay up just like that, and then if you want to keep your on your hands, you can, or you can walk them down. I don't think you need the blanket on this side. Good stuff. Nice deep breaths. Wherever you're noticing the stretch or wherever you're noticing the tension, breathe into those muscles. Send oxygen there. And then as you exhale, release that tension. Take your feet straight back. Good. Can you take this knee back a little bit more? Good. We'll take 2 more breaths. Now come back up onto your hands, walk them back towards you. This time your right forearm comes across the top of your mat. Stay lifted in the shoulder. See if you can reach that left arm back for the back foot. Hug it in towards you. And even if you can't reach the foot, simply bringing the heel in towards your body will give you a little bit more stretch. Good. Good. Lift lift up a little bit more through this shoulder. Yeah. And then slowly release the back leg. Bring both hands down to your mat. Curl your back toes under and come back to downward facing dog. Okay, step your feet halfway up onto your mat. Turn your toes out to the side. You might need to take your feet a little bit wider and sit your hips down. Bring your hands together into prayer position and press the elbows into the inner knees. Good. Roll the shoulders into your back, lift through your chest. Good. So Eric, I want you to focus on coming forward through here and the shoulders coming back. Can you stay there? Or hold your mat. There you go. Now we're going to stay in our twist. Try to lift through your chest, press down into your feet. You're going to extend your left arm down to the inside of the left leg, and then twist and reach your right arm up. Gaze towards that right arm. Good. And try to stay as even as you can in the legs. Good. Come back to prayer position. Over to the other side. Right arm extends down, left arm reaches up. Good. Try to get that shoulder blade into the back. Excellent. Now come back to center. We're going to try an arm balance today for fun. So bring your hands out in front of you a little bit wider than shoulder distance. We're going to do crow or bakasana. And then you're going to lean forward and try to get the knees up onto the triceps. So this pose really teaches us a lot about ourselves and a lot about patience. So we're not trying to lift the feet off. You want to lean forward and trust your body so much that the feet then lift off. Okay, so your gaze is forward. Yes, good. Just take your time, no rush. Just have fun with the pose, play with it a little bit. Good. Excellent. And when you're done, you're going to come to sit on your mat. Let's come sideways on our mats. And we're going to extend the right leg out and bend the left leg in. Good. So if anyone finds that the groin is tight here, and if you're not able to sit onto your sit bones and keep your pelvis upright, then I'll give you a folded blanket. I'm going to give you a folded blanket. Do you need a blanket, Angela? I think you're okay. So the extended leg, knee and toes are pointing up. So you're going to sit your bum up onto the edge of this. Okay, so slide it underneath your bum and you as well. Okay. Now, bring your arms by your side to begin, up onto the fingertips. And lift up nice and tall. Pelvis tilts upright, chest lifts as well, shoulders into your back. Take a couple breaths here. Now try to feel heavy in the sit bones, so feel like they're grounding down. The pelvis, we want to bring it to neutral if we can. And then you can bring your hands out in front and see if you can tilt from the pelvis, sit up on this, and start to come a little bit deeper into the stretch. Good, just as Cassie's doing. Now Cassie's very flexible, so she can come down very far, but don't feel like you have to do that for your practice. Just do whatever feels good in your body. We want to get deep into the groin. I think you can bring your hands forward, Lucy. Yeah, sinking here, and then tilting from here. Yeah, good. You feel that?
Just in the hip and the lower back, not in the groin.
Okay, and in this hip? Okay. Keep your shoulders even. Yeah, so you can probably go deeper if you want to walk your hands forward a little bit more. And then keep this hip heavy. Yeah. Good. Take 2 more breaths here. And now walk those hands back towards you. You're going to keep the right hand to the inside of the right leg. sort of using the forearm to press into the knee and keep it pointing up. And now reach the left arm up towards the sky. So you're going to bring it a little bit behind you, bring that shoulder blade into your back, and then turn and look underneath the arm. Good, so getting a nice side body stretch. You can decide how deep you want to go over. You're going to feel this into the side body and into the low back a little bit. Is that okay? And slowly come back up to center. Now bring your right leg straight out in front of you and cross your left leg over your right so that foot comes flat down onto the ground. Good. Sit up nice and tall. You're going to take your right arm and you're going to hug it in, the knee in towards the inner elbow. Left arm comes behind you. Inhale, lengthen up tall, and then exhale, twist and look over the back shoulder. So you're opening up your shoulders towards the side wall. Good stuff. On every inhale, lengthen, and then on every exhale, twist a little bit more. Good. See if you can take your chin, look all the way over the shoulder. That takes the twist all the way into the neck. Excellent. Come back to center. And then take your left leg extended out. Bring your right heel in towards you. Good. Sit up nice and tall. Bring your hands behind you to begin. Work the pelvis to an upright position. Sitting up on the edge of the blanket if you need it. And then if you're able to maintain that, bring the hands out in front. Keep the pelvis heavy. And come a little bit deeper into the stretch. Good, so bring your shoulders back for a moment. Come, yeah, can you maintain that there? Perfect. Good, so we don't want to let the hips lift off. You want to keep those hips sinking. Come back a little bit. Sit up tall, and then straighten this leg, press it down. Yeah, can you feel the stretch there? See if you can hold it there. If you want to bring your hands by your side, you can. Good. Excellent. Now walk those hands back towards you. Left hand comes the inside of the leg. Use your forearm to press into the knee to keep it open. Reach your right arm up. Follow your fingers with your gaze. Plug that shoulder into your back and bring that hand maybe a little bit behind you. Good. Breathe deeply into that side body. And then slowly come back up. Take your left leg straight out in front of you and cross the bent leg over. The right leg crosses over. Good. Sit up nice and tall. Ground the sit bones. Then wrap your left arm around that knee. Hug the thigh in towards you. Right arm comes behind. Inhale, lengthen up tall. And then exhale, twist and turn and look over at that back shoulder. Good. On each inhale, find more length. And then each exhale, twist a little bit further. Excellent. Come back to center. So take the right leg off. We're going to bend both knees. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees wide. Good. Arms can be by the side to lift up tall. And now same thing in this pose. When we come forward, or if we come forward, the movement happens right from the pelvis. So if you like, you can bring your hands in front, onto the feet even, and then we tilt from the pelvis. Good. Even just a little bit of movement can create a deeper stretch, so don't feel like you have to come all the way down. So I want you to come up nice and tall, lift up tall. Good. Let the knees open, and I think you're going to just stay right here because the hips seem tight, the knees are high, so just stay here and try to soften the legs and let them come down, okay? Good, and if you're doing this stretch on your own, even sometimes coming with the back against a wall to sit upright can give you enough stretch, and then you can work at relaxing the legs and opening up the knees. Good, so rise all the way up. You're going to sit back into your hips and bring your knees together. And you can turn and face forward on your mat now. You're going to come to sit on your knees. And we're going to do a stretch for the Achilles. the back of the ankle, which can be very tight on a lot of people, and it's a tough area to stretch. So on your knees, you're going to bend your right leg, and you're going to bring the sole of your right foot down onto your mat. Now you want to try to flatten it out completely. The further back you bring the heel towards your sit bones, the more stretch you're going to feel, okay? Then bring your hands out by your side. Lean forward into that front thigh and keep that heel grounding. So there's weight coming into the front thigh, and that's what creates the stretch. Good. So if you want more stretch, try bringing that heel closer to the sit bone, but keep it reaching down. Good stuff. Deep breaths. Good. Slowly release that leg. We'll go over to the other side. You guys feel the stretch? Yeah? Good. So bring that heel in close as you need to. Flatten it out. Arms are by the side. Start to lean into the thigh. Good. When you're doing this stretch, you also want to make sure that that front knee, the knee of the bent leg, goes right over the toes and not out to the side. Good stuff. Good. Take one more big inhale. And exhale. You can release that leg. Bring both legs out in front of you, and you're going to make your way onto your back. All the way back. Excellent. When you arrive here, keep your knees bent. Take your feet wider than your hips, and let your knees come and rest against each other. Bring your arms by your side, palms up. Just take a few breaths here. Take a moment to check in with the low back and the hips. Take your feet wider. Wider. Yeah, and knees together. Good. Now draw your knees in towards your chest. Hug them in with your arms. Rock from side to side. Or you can take the knees into a little circle and massage the edges of your sacrum. Come back to center, and we're going to come into happy baby pose. So the knees draw wide and the feet stack. You're going to reach on the inside of your legs and then hold the outside of your feet. So bring your hands on this side. Yeah, there you go. Good. Tailbone, we want to keep it lengthening forward, so try not to let the hips come up too high. Now, if you find it hard or difficult to reach the feet without the hips lifting, then just bring your hands on the backs of the knees. Sort of wrap them around. Good. Soften around the shoulders and the neck. If it feels good to rock a little bit from one side to the other, you can do so. Now release the feet, bring your knees together. Lower just your left foot down onto the mat and cross your right ankle over the left thigh. Now allow that knee to move away from you and really flex the toes up towards the knee. Good. Reach for the left thigh. So one hand comes to the window of the leg, one hand on the outside, and draw the left knee in towards the left shoulder. So oftentimes that knee will go across or sort of point across the body, and we want to guide it right towards the shoulder. Good. Deep breaths, and once again keep the tailbone reaching forward. Try to make more curve in the back. See if you can flex that foot a little bit more. Good stuff. Flex that foot, the top foot. Good. Good. Deep breaths. Good. Lower the leg down, uncross your ankle, and over to the other side. Let the knee move away, flex the foot, reach for your thigh, and draw it in towards the shoulder. Good. Keep that tailbone lengthening forward. You can probably bring your hands to the shin Yeah, and then hug it in this way. Good, and flex that foot. Flex the toes back this way. Yeah, there you go. Can you feel that stretch? Good. Good, take one more inhale. And exhale, release the legs down and cross the ankle. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Bring your arms out by your side, but with bent elbows, so cactus pose. Try to flatten the arms down onto the floor beside you. And take both knees over to your right side. Allow them to rest on the floor beside you. Keep the opposite shoulder reaching down and turn and gaze in that direction. Good, nice deep breaths. Good, slowly draw the knees back to center and over to the other side. Good, turn the head, look over the opposite shoulder, nice deep breaths. Now draw the knees back to center. Lower your feet down onto your mat. So we're going to finish the class a little differently. We're not going to have a typical Shavasana, unless that's what you want and that's what your body needs. Otherwise, we're going to come and bring our mats to the wall and do legs up the wall. Just another pose for you guys to learn. That's very beneficial for the body. So the back row, it's very easy for you. You can just turn that way. The front row, if you like, you can just find a spot on the side, or you can feel free to stay with your mat on the floor. And essentially what legs at the wall is you're on your back and your legs are going up the wall. Now, if you were to do this at home, you could bring a folded blanket or some support under the hips, but it's still effective with the hips straight down onto the ground. So the legs are supported by the wall. Arms by your side, palms turned up towards the sky, so shoulder blades are nice and flat. Good. And then you can close your eyes. Legs at the wall has many wonderful benefits for the body and for the mind. But just lie very still. Use the support of the wall and the ground beneath you. Allow the heart to rest, the mind, and any fluids that need to drain back to the organs can do so very easily. Legs at the wall is a great pose to do if you're nervous or agitated or are having difficulty resting, especially if you've just been doing some training and you have a lot of adrenaline moving through your body, but you need to rest. So be with the breath. Stay here for a few minutes. Now slowly invite a deeper breath into your body. And softly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. When your body feels ready, bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet against the wall. Turn and roll over to your right side, or whichever side's most convenient for you, and stay here on your side just a little while longer. Take a couple more breaths. Then use as little energy as possible to make your way up to a seated position. You don't want to? Good. And then invite your hands together at your heart. Raise them up to your forehead. Namaste. Great job, everyone. Good.